talk about the good things that we know you're all doing, so we can hear it from you directly. So we'll start with the Flex program. Is there someone who would like to introduce your program?
Yeah. So I'm going to start the Flex program, as you guys know, started this year. Our goal is to create an alternative learning place for students who might be struggling with our indicators are have high level of absences, behavior incidences, physical or mental health issues, and academic failure in the past. Those are some of the indicators that we look for. Currently we have 10 students ranging from 8th grade to 10th grade currently this school year. We provide flexibility in scheduling, classes. We offer curriculum support with Ms. Burns, that we'll talk a little bit about that. We also have a strong counseling support for social emotional needs with Ms. P. And we're just going to share a little bit about our progress and that we have so far this year and a little bit more of the program. And I want to invite two of our students that are part of the program just to share their experience so far and anything you would like to share about how it's going this year.
Yeah, so we'll start with Carly.
Okay. Hi, I'm Carly.
I have to talk to you in just a minute. This is just what I already talked about. Go ahead,
Yes, you're on there. Yes.
Well, unfortunately, I wasn't in school that day, but I would have had lots of fun. But I don't know. I really want to thank these wonderful people for helping me through a really big struggle in the part of my life I really thought I wasn't going to get through. So thank you. Your program helped me a lot, and I don't know, I'm getting really nervous. But I went from not going to school at all to no grades at all to wanting to come to school every day to passing. So thank you.
Good job.
Well,
My name's
good for
Callie.
Give your recognition.
Yeah. My name's Callie. Last year, it was actually last year and all of 8th grade, I didn't come to school for a while, and I was failing, and I got into a lot of trouble. And then this year, with these 3 people and Mr. Versa, they helped me a lot. My grades have been great. Not many absences, very little.
Thank you, Lee. You did a great job.
I'm going to share a little bit. They already shared a little bit of their successes, but the overall arching fact so far, we only have our program progress, not our outcomes yet, because it's only halfway through the year. So our attendance, we have shown improvement in our attendance overall. I will show, I don't know how to use this to show. Our discipline had a decrease. How can I show the link?
I don't have some links.
Yeah, you can click on either one because it shows it. So here's our absences. It's just student A through J represents our 10. From last year, from first semester, you see the numbers, and then from this year, you see the impact that this program has had on us. Some of them didn't have, all of them had some attendance issues, but you see there that it has significantly improved from last year to this year. This was all the support, and we'll talk about what supports we have in place that have helped with this positive outcome so far. Can you scroll down? You just have to scroll down to the discipline. So our disciplinary growth from last year to this year, there was an 88% decrease. Some of our students didn't start at Coxsackie-Athens. They have transferred from Kingston, Hudson, Catskill. So those are also represented in our numbers from last year, disciplinary growth. So this year, so you can see a significant decrease in our disciplinary growth and the supports that we offer. When you guys have, I think you have access to the PDF, you can click on it and see individually, but we're hopefully good to show you even more growth when we have the end of the year results, so we can see the positive impact that our program has had through our support. So we're going to talk about the supports that we have in place to make the program what it is.
Hi, I'm the teacher for ELA and Global typically. So something that we do are individual success plans. So each student has a document that all of us can access, and we can log any observations we see in behavioral, exchanges they've had with other students, maybe other teachers. We track some of their absences. I think that's kind of it, but it's really just a snapshot just for that student. eSchool is really wonderful, but sometimes it's just easier to go into the drive, so that's kind of what this has helped with. And then the other thing that we do are missing assignment trackers. So when students log into eSchool on their iPads, it can be a little difficult to navigate, and they can't really see specific assignments. So I update these weekly for each student, and they have it right in their drive, and so it'll give them a list of their assignments and their current grade. So they hound me all the time. They're like, can you update that for me? So that's been really successful for helping them up their grades this year.
We can go back one time, because we have the assignment tracker. We also had, I'm gonna do a shout out for Carly and Tally.
Yes.
In January, by January of this year, they have already recovered 7 credits combined with one another. So Carly came to us with only 1.5 credits, and now she is a sophomore. So now she has gotten. Yeah. Tally just completed, I believe, 2 Apex, one over the summer, and then just completed another Apex credit recovery. So now she is on her way to being probably
Official.
a sophomore, official sophomore.
Yes, and Tally actually just finished as well. She finished her Apex just recently, and that was continuing from the summer until now. So we tried to give them deadlines, and then we have a celebration actually tomorrow to celebrate these 2 ladies and a few others that had also completed Apex. Support with me, okay. Hi, I have them all call me Miss P. My last name is Puro, my name is Ms. Puro. So as the school counselor, I am an intensive counselor. So every morning I go in there, check in on all of my students. I want to see what they look like first thing in the morning. Say hello, smiling face. And then throughout the week, I meet with each and every single one of them individually, and then I also do a group once a week with them. Yesterday we did friendships, or today we did friendships, and we did credit cards, how to read a credit card statement. So it's anything from SEL to our 4 C's, our employability skills, mindfulness. We did a mindful smelling, learning how to breathe. They're kind of laughing. So at first it was a little funny, but they enjoyed it at the end. Gratitude, they also were able to fill out an envelope and mail their parents something for Thanksgiving just to say how grateful they were. So we're really trying to incorporate everything that Coxsackie is trying to promote, and then also some skills along the way.
Is any, you want to share a little more about how students have been supporting you as well?
So I'm Lorna. I took over the RISE program. Thank you for the grant, by the way, for my coffee card. So one of my really big goals in regenerating that program a little bit was I really wanted my students to have opportunities to be mentored and to be mentees. And Tally was in my math class last year, and I'm super proud of how far she's come. So one of the things that we've been having these guys come up to our classroom, they join us for breakfast sometimes, they come in and help cook every now and then. My classroom is open to them whenever they want to come into my classroom. We had a student who really wanted to work with some of my students, and it was successful for a small period of time. Other things took over, but we're really looking for opportunities for them to come up and mentor some of my students. So one of the ideas that we've talked about too was with the coffee cart, I want my students to learn the customer service skills first. They can help with the math. Then when my kids have the customer service skills, they can help teach them the math part, making change. And then my students can mentor middle school students and do the same thing. So I think it's been a really nice opportunity. I think a couple of them have really made some nice connections with some of the kids in my room. Found out that Carly knows a couple of the kids in my room, and there's some connections that I didn't even know about. So that's been kind of interesting. And then one of the other things, I don't know if you guys remembered, but we offered, because we cook breakfast every morning, anybody in that flex program who earns honor roll gets a special breakfast from our room. We will cook, plan a meal, and invite them up for a celebratory breakfast, or they can take it downstairs if they don't want to come up. It's okay too.
Yeah.
But, so we're really trying to build some relationships between the two programs, which I think is very beneficial.
And have some big and small wins, right? Yeah. And celebrate you along the way, because we know how hard it was from the transition, but you guys have shown this growth, and this is why we wanted to honor you here for us today. We asked everyone in the class if anyone would like to come in and speak to all of you about their experience, and these two lovely ladies were happy to. So
Made us very nervous about it.
they did it though. They came up. You guys did it. It wasn't that bad. You did a great job. Yeah. So thank you. Big questions. Yeah.
How many are in the program?
We have 10,
Wow.
but they come in and they have flexible schedule, and some of them come later in the day, some of them come in the morning and then leave. It depends what their needs are.
And you have out of district?
They're not out of district. They transferred to us like maybe last March, and were transitioned successfully, or were having a hard time where they were, and then custody trips and stuff like that. Not like we're taking students from other districts. They just happen to move into our district.
Okay.
And maybe didn't show some success last year when they transitioned. So this was a perfect opportunity for them to come in and try. So our pilot program. Yeah.
Carly, Callie, I just want to mention, just want to thank you for sharing your success story with us today, because I think it's great for the board to hear that, and for the public to hear that. And especially thank you for all your mentoring that you've done with younger students, and I'm sure they can look up to you. You're helping them along the way, so thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And learning leadership skills along the way. There's a lot of different moving parts here that they're learning, I think. Which is awesome.
The individual success plan, was that your idea?
That was me. We used to do it at Albany Leadership, that's where I taught before here. And so I would have one for every student back then, which was 101, so that was a lot to manage, so this is much nicer. But when you need the data, and it's just right there, so it's easier to have.
I just think, well, you teach ELA, but language is so important, and when you say, put success in it, it's just a nice way of pointing where you're going. But it makes me think, where do you think the magic is for you girls? What really got you to, if you thought about it?
You can say it's okay.
No, but
You're so modest.
it's like there's less students in the class, so
Okay.
like it's easy to focus, and like it's more one-on-one with the teachers and stuff, and it's so less complicated than all the 18 classrooms you gotta go through. And
My story is a little bit different. I went to Hudson, so you guys probably know that's not really a very good school, but
We
I
never say anything about
the teachers at the school, they didn't really help me. They didn't, like my counselor, when they seen I was upset in school, she wouldn't come talk to me. If I needed help with work, none of the teachers would really help me, because I'd get frustrated, and sometimes I'd be a little bit rude, but I've moved past a lot of that, and Miss P, she's so very, very patient with me, and so is Miss Burns a lot of the time.
Probably needs a cooling off period.
Yeah.
So you let her have that, and then she'll do her work.
But yeah, for the past year, they've helped me with a lot, and I've achieved a lot that I didn't think I was going to be able to achieve. So I thank them a lot for that. And Diversa, I need a little shout out for her.
a lot of shout
I'm her shadow, yeah, kind of. She follows me wherever I go and helps me.
Miss Diversa, she actually transitions with our students into classrooms with them to make sure that if they need any extra support.
I have to do this all on my own.
That's
so true. You can do it.
And so I think that's where the love for Miss Diversa comes in. Yeah.
Right.
And another thing is they make you feel comfortable, honestly.
Oh, they definitely do.
And they don't put off like a judgy vibe to, like when you meet somebody for the first time, they kind of seem really judgy. Miss Burns, I'm not gonna lie, when I first came to the classroom, I thought she was gonna be the one that I wasn't gonna get along with, but it turns out her and Diversa and Miss P, I don't really know Miss Dyer all too that well, but I'm really, really close with, Miss Burns and Miss P and Diversa, but when me and Miss Dyer are together, we're great. She helps me too. She actually helped me get through summer.
Summer was long.
Yes, it was very long.
I recall Ms. P and Ms. Burns are new to us, right? So thank you for bringing your magic and your leadership school,
Yeah,
all
thanks for
your
providing.
leadership school knowledge and experience and helping the kids here. It's really important because this is the key, I think. That's why I asked the girls, like, what's the key? But the key is you and the relationships you build, and you help kids feel like
Love.
comfortable,
Comfortable.
cared
Please
about,
explain
the
nurtured.
picture on the
Yes.
scooter.
Oh,
Please go back to the picture on the scooter.
I wish I was there.
Because that was not just like, that was not just the program.
This
Like-
is our, Carly's very upset about this picture because she wasn't here that day.
And I was actually looking forward to doing it.
Yeah, can you explain what this?
Yeah, so we learned all about enduring issues for the Global 10 regions through The Amazing Race. So we'd watch an episode and then they would learn a new enduring issue and then apply it and then write an essay. So huge shout out to them because these kids usually are like, I have to write an essay, and then they scream for days. But they wrote 10, so they've written 10 enduring issue essays, which is great practice for the regents, but also just writing skills, and they did a lot of revising and working together. So to celebrate them, we hosted The Amazing Race in the middle school and the high school, so they rotated around different classrooms and had to compete in regents-based prep questions based on review for topics that we covered. So on this one, Dr. Mercer donated funders, and they had to scoot their way all the way back to the high school. We had the robots.
Which is way harder than you think. I mean, so by the end, I mean, there were teachers in the 8th grade hallway, like, pushing kids.
Yeah,
There were
shout out to
students
Rob.
who were like, you can do it! It was, and they did it. Like, and of course, the middle schoolers want to know why they can't.
And they learn.
Yes.
And they learn.
They were on fire.
So, if we do it next year, I won't make them go so far.
No,
That was a little
too far.
misconception.
Too far.
The smaller districts, but
The trade won't be larger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Larger plungers.
Yeah. We'll see.
Thank you,
Maybe
Mr.
ones that actually stuck, because I tried chalking on the wall and it didn't work.
There's no suction on the wall. You need the floor.
I thought they because they were square.
All right.
Air pockets on the wall.
It was love.
We did, and thank you. I think Mr. Donahue was just saying, yeah, the magic, but I think it's also the excitement behind it. I think that when we applied for these, for this position, when I applied anyways, I can say that I was really excited. This is exactly what I wanted to do, was be able to connect with students that really need extra support, extra love, and just guidance along the way. And being able to do that with a small group of students instead of 150 or 180, like my other colleagues, I mean, this is an honor. Truly, and to be able to see the success behind it. Talk about gratitude and self-satisfaction. So, thank you.
Anyone else?
You guys just look so happy. You guys look, and I'm proud of you, and I don't even know you, but you're all.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys, and congratulations.
Thank you for coming, as Mr. Wallace said. It's not easy coming to a bunch of people you don't know, who might ask you a whole crazy question.
You guys are great.
Awesome.
And stay warm,
Yes.
or try to.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day. Oh, nice job. Thank you, Kyle.
This is gonna be grilling. Well, wait, you get to miss this part, that's not fair. I gotta go to that, freshman seminar.
I thought your daughter was 6 or 7.
Don't look, don't look. I've got a somewhat of a quick budget update for you today. The governor's, you'll see at the end, the governor's budget proposal came out yesterday. It was supposed to be out at 1 o'clock. Typical New York fashion, it did not come out at 1 o'clock. I don't want to give too much detail on it yet because I haven't had a full-blown chance to really look into it. I don't want to be up here just throwing numbers at you and not know holistically what they mean. So I am going to go over what we are trying to accomplish now. Okay, so 5 quick things I want to talk about are formalizing positions, fuel bids, staffing proposals for next year, health insurance increases, and then me telling you I will look at the governor's budget at the end. So right now, we've got the ARP and ESSER, those are the two grants, the COVID grants, that are expiring in the next 2 years. Currently, we have 9 positions being held in those grants, 6 of which were formalized in last year's budget. They were part of the budget. I would like to bring the other 3 over so that if ARP ESSER ends tomorrow, we can continue sustaining programs that we have. That would be the additional cost to the budget to formalize them over. But again, the goal of this is if the ARP and the ESSER money dry up tomorrow, we wouldn't need to make those particular cuts to those particular programs. We should be good to go.
What are those 3 positions?
I don't,
I know it's the 2 flex.
2 of them are flex and 1 of them is the 8 position.
So you want to do that next
In the 23-24 budget, I would like part of our budget, our annual budget increase to encompass those 3 positions so that they are locally funded.
So with the 204,000 that's going now goes,
That's,
where would we?
that would be next year's
Yeah.
cost. So that's next year's raises, the raises that they get July 1 of next year. Those would be part of next year's budget.
The ARP and the SR money would then become what?
We would use those to pay that, but that would be formalized in. So in other words, moving forward, any budget increases would not be a result of those positions if the money were to dry up. The whole goal of this was, so we have 9 positions. We didn't want to come to you when the money is dried up saying, hey, we need to throw 9 positions in the budget. Oh my God, what are we going to do? So, I can't really speak to before stepping into this role. I don't know off the top of my head. I know that last year's budget had 6 of the 9, and I wanted to bring the other 3 in. I think the question you're asking, if I'm not mistaken, is, so if the federal grants are still covering this, what is that $204,000 being used for? Okay, so that would essentially allow the district then to explore other options on a temporary basis or make one-time purchases or things like that. Does that answer the question? Okay. All right. Other thing that happened recently is a fuel bid. We partner with a bunch of other schools in this portion of the state through DCMO BOCES. We go to a fuel bid every year. The good news is we are seeing a negative change, like negative dollar-wise, positive for us, change in the diesel prices. Right here we've got last year's prices and this year's prices. So savings in all 3 different tank wagon deliveries for the diesel and the blend and the kerosene. And again, big savings for us. We annually budget for 35,000 gallons with the ability to go up to 40 if needed on those costs. So again, kind of excited about that, especially since we're in the 76, 89 range. That's a substantial amount of savings for us. That will have to be approved next week at the board meeting. The bids ended on Tuesday of this week. We sent the preliminary award letter to the vendors today, saying that this will be going to the board on February 9th for approval, blah, 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 blah. Those will be the prices per gallon that I'm going to ask you guys to approve next week. Staffing proposals, there's 3 positions we would like to bring into the district next year. The district office clerical position was what we had talked about the other night. The proposal had been emailed to you guys, and the matrix that had the 3 positions, the 4, what they would look like was attached to that. And then 2 teaching assistants have been requested as well. Each of these dollar figures do include salary and fringe benefits. So that is something to keep in mind.
Just for me, Ryan, I couldn't open it. It said I needed permission, and I just didn't ask permission when I clicked on proposal.
Okay, I will fix that as soon as I get back to my computer. Thank you. And then health insurance. This is going to be the big one. So these are preliminary. These aren't final yet. Highmark, we're seeing the 10% increase. Caremark at 13.6. CPHP at 12, and then Humana for our retirees is going to be 0. Obviously, substantial increases in health insurance. They do continue to rise. We've seen that over the past couple of years. The belief as to why they're increasing so much is they're saying COVID's finally catching up with the insurance companies, and they're charging more because of it. So that's what we have for our health insurance figures as of right now.
How do these compared to last year?
So last year, Highmark, we had a 5.1% increase. CDPHP, we had 9.2% increase. Humana, I think was still 0, and Caremark, I think was 5.1 as well. I will double check on that. If it's different, I'll get back to you. But those, I know 5.1 and 9.2 for here respectively are accurate. Your hand up or
no?
All right, and then, as I said, the governor's budget was released yesterday afternoon. That includes all of our aid projections and whatnot. I really do want to look at it more deeply before I throw numbers at you and can't stand up here and tell you what they mean. So that will be coming your way shortly. The next budget presentation, budget update. Anybody have any other questions for me?
We've had a budget committee, right, at the same time, so we'll probably wanna coordinate that with you.
Yep, once I get more to report on, I think would be an appropriate time to do that. I mean, until now, I've got basically what you just saw, I've got fuel bid, health insurance preliminary numbers, and so on and so forth. But yes, that is the goal. If you remember last year with all the pie charts and the graphs and everything else, once I can dissect that stuff and have that information, I think that would be an appropriate time to meet with you guys if you're open to that timeline.
Can you just go over the process where feedback comes to the administrative unit from staff?
Yep.
On what their needs are?
Back in December, we sent out the different colored sheets. We've got software, textbook, workbook, field trip, equipment, supplies, budget line increase, etc. Like all these sheets go out to the staff. I'll use the high school math department. So the high school math department gets that sheet, okay? We as a department talk, we say we need this, we need this, we need this, we need it, we need this, yada, yada, yada. Those sheets then go to the principals look at them, they sign off on them, and they come over to us, and then we break that down into what basically builds our supply lines, our equipment lines, and everything else. I don't think we said no to anything last year. I think what people asked for and they needed, it was justified. They weren't asking for a little aside here when I was teaching math. I used to ask for a secretary every year because I thought it was hilarious. I never got a secretary, right? It kind of makes sense that a math teacher doesn't need a secretary. So as long as there's no outlandish things like that, people are getting what they need.
Will the ad hoc committee get to see the original list?
Yeah, I can put it all together. It's long, but I will put it all together in a list. I just got done with the field trip request list today.
Yeah, we want to encourage people to really work on that piece, because last year in June, we had people coming. Remember about the instruments?
Yeah, I mean, the goal is to always ask for it from us via those sheets before they go and ask to stay at the cafe. Because if the cafe is getting blindsided by things and questions are being asked, like, why isn't the school buying these? And it's like, did you ask for them? It's kind of hard to answer that question. So.
She didn't include the free lunches, did she, the governor? I was trying to find it.
I have not seen that immediately, no.
But I didn't hear that it was.
I think it's still a talking point more so than anything she included immediately. I would love for her to do that. So. Any questions?
Okay, so you'll let us know when you're ready.
Yep. I'll get something together, share it out, and then we'll get together as a committee, and voila, budget season is alive.
Thank you.
Pretty good, we're really good.
You guys are terrible.
Sorry.
Okay, we'll move right along. Just the future dates. February 9th is just next Thursday. We'll be here, 6:30 for a regular